If you guys have been on the internet over the past few days, you've probably also been enjoying watching MAGA collectively melt down after Trump was convicted on all 34 counts. But there's an aspect of this that people have been missing that I want to dig into. A lot of MAGA supporters are claiming they're not only donating to Donald Trump, but they're donating their last dollar, their last penny to the Trump campaign, and I find this quite concerning. Mom2Warrior said on Twitter, "Prior to this day, I did something I've never done before. I've donated twice to President Trump's campaign. I don't have a lot of money, but it was well worth it." And this response really got me from Common Sense Custodian. He said, "I will donate another $20 and make it 70 since you did it twice. I cannot pay my grocery bills. I am 30K in debt since 2021. Screw it. We have one chance to save this experiment in freedom." Keep in mind that MAGA, people exactly like that guy, are the ones who have spent months, years claiming that we are currently in an economic recession. They genuinely believe it. They're caught in this echo chamber where they currently think that Biden caused so much inflation that the American economy is melting down, yet in the next breath they say that they'll donate their last dollar, the last dollar from their paycheck, towards Donald Trump's legal fees. There's some massive cognitive dissonance going on, especially since the US economy isn't in a recession whatsoever. We actually have the lowest inflation in the world. Inflation has been reducing, and real wages have been outpacing the growth of inflation, which is exactly what we want. But even beyond all that, a new poll from Harris says that more than half of Americans, 56%, mistakenly believe the US is currently in a recession and that Biden is responsible for a worsening economy, according to a stunning new poll conducted by Harris for The Guardian. But that's just not backed up by any data whatsoever. In fact, when you poll Americans on their personal situation, the vast majority of them say they are personally doing well financially, but they think there is this broader trend in the American economy that shows that we're going through a recession. But again, it is not backed up by anything other than vibes. That's why people call this a vibe session, because the only indicator we have for there being an economic recession are people's vibes. But to go back to MAGA for a second, I think they've collectively gaslit themselves into thinking the economy is so bad because there is a Democratic president. I mean, a lot of them sit in this echo chamber all day on social media and in Fox News, and they only see bad economic numbers, leading them to believe the US economy is currently melting down. But I will say, if Donald Trump were president right now, I think MAGA would be saying the economy is roaring. It's the best it's been in decades. They literally just think the economy is doing bad because there is a Democrat in office. But this is where it gets even more sad and concerning. So somebody replied to that last tweet I read by Common Sense Custodian, and they said, "My husband is 69. I'm 71. I care for my handicapped 74-year-old sister. We are on Social Security, and I sell my years of antique dolls and doll clothes collections to help. I'm battling cancer, but all that being said, we will cut where we can to donate. It's that important to save our country." Donald Trump has conned a large amount of Americans into thinking that donating their last penny is what they needed to do to save our country. And the grift is actually sickening. I mean, if this lady is telling the truth, then she has cancer. She has a handicapped 74-year-old sister who she takes care of, yet she is cutting where she can to donate to Donald Trump, to billionaire Donald Trump, who is drowning in legal fees after sleeping with a porn star and being found civilly liable for rape. But this is a common pattern we see in the MAGA world. Donald Trump loves to grift off of his supporters who likely need the money more than him. Over and over, we've seen him sell his own version of the Bible, his own sneakers. He sends out these scammy text messages. I always get these messages saying, "Adam, what are you wearing?" Then I click on it and it's like, "President Trump wants to know." He likes to scam his followers by creating this connection with them, this fake connection, then saying he needs money to save our country. And I think a lot of the blame can also fall on a lot of these MAGA pundits. People like Matt Walsh, who immediately tweeted, "I don't often donate to political campaigns, but I will be making a sizable donation to the Trump campaign tonight." This started a whole wave in the MAGA movement where every single MAGA sycophant, every single influencer to every single random MAGA supporter said they will be donating to Donald Trump. The grift is absolutely absurd. It's all a part of Donald Trump's con, but Tucker Carlson also had a mega viral tweet yesterday that had like 400,000 likes where he said, "Import the third world, become the third world." That's what we just saw. law. This won't stop Trump. He'll win the election if he's not killed first. But this does mark the end of the fairest justice system in the world. Anyone who defends this verdict is a danger to you and your family. There's just so much wrong with this tweet. Almost every single word of this tweet is wrong. Firstly, he says, import the third world, become the third world. I'm not sure what that has to do with Donald Trump paying off a porn star with the end goal of influencing the results of an election. I mean, did a third world country force Donald Trump to make that fraudulent payment or to sleep with Stormy Daniels? I don't get the implication here other than Tucker Carlson just being xenophobic. He doesn't want immigrants to come over, so he blames everything on the immigrants. He also could be referring to the fact that Judge Juan Merchan is actually a Colombian immigrant. He moved from Colombia a while back before he became a successful judge/justice. So maybe Tucker Carlson is taking a dig at that and saying that Juan Merchan is from a third world country. I don't really know what this dog whistle is supposed to mean. But then Tucker Carlson says this marks the end of the fairest justice system in the world. I would actually argue the exact opposite. The fairest justice system in the world just convicted Donald Trump because nobody is above the law. Even if you're a former president, even if you're part of the elite and you have all of these connections, you are still not above the law. This reminds me of Ben Shapiro's argument where he always says that he knows Trump is a little bit crazy, but there are guardrails in place to keep Trump from going off of the road. But then when these guardrails actually punish Trump and convict him of 34 counts, right-wingers freak out that these guardrails exist in the first place. Because if it were up to Tucker Carlson, he would remove all of the guardrails that exist in our government and in our judicial system and these checks and balances and make it so that Donald Trump can unilaterally do whatever he wants. But then Tucker Carlson turns around and says that this is the end of the fairest justice system in the world. He then says, anyone who defends this verdict is a danger to you and your family. I'm sorry that I'm for law and order, and I actually like seeing people be held accountable for their actions, even if they're powerful. They claim to be the party of law and order, then they turn around and say stuff like this. Another funny tweet that I saw in response to Trump's convictions was from Kyle Rittenhouse. He said, today is a miscarriage of justice. Donald Trump should not have been found guilty. Read that one more time. Donald Trump should not have been found guilty. Friend of the show, David Packman, responded by saying, should not have been found guilty. What is your native language? Obviously, Kyle Rittenhouse meant he should not have been found guilty. But the fact that we have people with a 5th grade level understanding of language commenting on this case shows how far the MAGA movement has fallen. I'm sure over the next few days and weeks, we'll see more MAGA sycophants bankrupting themselves to donate to Donald Trump's campaign. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment a blue heart if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, have a great day yourself.